Good luck.
I'm going to pop out this chat. Okay. So I'm going to assume we're live. Sean, thank you. Thank you for helping me with that. I can't tell you how much I appreciate that. How's everyone doing tonight in the chat? I'm going to go into live chat so that I can make sure I have everybody and I don't miss anyone. Mana, how you doing? Blind Neil, Furball. Hey, Furball. I'm going to go up here. I appreciate everyone being here. Let me go ahead and go down there. So as much you know, I was going to do an update interview with Geeksvana, because the first time I talked to him, I think he didn't even have 1,000 subscribers.
I think so. Yeah.
Yeah. And now you're already up to over 3,000. So my questions that I have, hey guys, huge, lots of questions. I want to talk to you about how are you growing? I want to know Libby, about Libby, because that was ingenious. What a sweet gal. That was so ingenious. And
she is awesome.
She's lovely and she's beautiful. I just think that's a really good one. And I know that you just did Spin Up.
The pre-show, that's right, yes.
The pre-show yesterday morning, and I was working, so I'm gonna have to go in and rewatch.
Thank you.
I heard it was excellent, Sean.
It was stressful, but it was a lot of fun. So yes, I was I was very lucky to get to do something like that. It was good fun, especially now. If you'd have asked me on Friday, I'd have said it's extremely stressful, but
everyone.
But yeah, it was good fun.
And at one time, you had 118 people within the chat.
Yes.
So we did. I know you have a lot of people when you're on a regular show, right? When you're doing your show, you have a lot of people. But how did you manage? I mean, I'm going to have to start with that, even though that should probably be the end story. How did you manage 118 at one time? Because everyone likes to feel as if they're within the chat. They're chatting to you, you're chatting to them. And we can do this on the smaller shows. How do you do that with 118 people?
I mean, obviously it was my second time I've experienced an audience size like that. The first time was when the Mavic Air 2 launched. We were live during the actual launch of it, and we had 90 something, which I think was the previous record that my channel had for a live stream. I mean, it's just keeping up, but having good moderators helps. I've got one senior moderator, El Smeghead Andy, who works his socks off talking to people and keeping them informed and that type of thing. My other half, Foxy, was also running the social media side of things for us, and was on a second microphone in the other side of the studio, giving everyone updates on Twitter and Instagram, etc. So yeah, it wasn't as interactive as some of them normally are, as some of our shows normally are with the chat itself. But thankfully the chat, pretty much looked after itself with the moderator's help, which was excellent.
Right. Oh, really quick, we got Swift Fox, Paul Murray, and Steve Essex just came in, of course Paul Hodges is in, and Blaine Hill and all the ones I've already said hello to. Hey guys. So this is what I think about when I see that many people. A lot of the bigger YouTubers have that kind of base. They can have thousands, they can have hundreds. It just depends on where they are. And there really is no up close and personal with those live chats without a few things happening.
Yeah, no, indeed. I mean, I always try and put a show together. I mean, this show was unique because it was the Spin Up pre-show. So I had a very unique format and a very unique mission statement, really. Obviously, normally my live shows are chilling out with Lib. We have a guest coming on, we play a few videos, viewer videos, that type of thing. And that kind of thing is easier to be interactive with the audience on. In this particular show, we were obviously warming everyone up for the main event, Spin Up. So it was really just um, the mission we had a countdown timer going the entire time at the bottom of the screen, so people knew when the show was coming up, and we're always moving towards that. And yeah, it was a different type of show, but we tried to put something together that would, because again, although it was the afternoon in the UK, it was early in the States. The spin up itself didn't start till 10 a.m. So I was also aware that some people wouldn't necessarily be wanting to sit and chat on in the chat too much. So I wanted to put on some entertainment for them, so they could just sit back and relax, and enjoy it, rather than having to be too interactive. But actually, the chat did fly past fairly healthily, which was fantastic.
Very nice. Thank you, Paul, for making everyone welcome. So my two main moderators tonight, though I won't have 117 people in here, is Paul Murray, who's doing an excellent job.
Yeah, but I honestly think you've got to do every live show, especially live shows, to one person. You've just got to imagine that one person that's out there watching, and then it's just down to the algorithm and sometimes luck and etc. for how many you end up getting. But just try to engage with that one person that's listening, and then you'll succeed, because everyone's an individual.
Well, that's very true. And you didn't just, okay, so I want to say this for everyone watching, though I know they know it. You just didn't fall into Clover. You just didn't accidentally fall into doing the pre-show with Spin Up. There's a lot of work that goes into your channel. And I was talking to you one day, and I was amazed how much work goes into it, pre-planning. And a lot of our guys know this, the post-show, the pre-show, the scripting, the production. There's a lot of thought into it. Also contacts and drone use, all of that. How much time would you say you put into this platform in a week's time?
It's very difficult to put a number on it. In terms of, I try to have efficient workflows. So I look at what I want to produce. So I want to produce some nice pre-recorded videos which give people information, which hopefully sometimes adds some value, whether that's by delivering a news story or helps them tips on one of the drones that I fly, and I really look at the type of video that I want to be uploading and the live shows, and then I try to work out processes and systems which feed that from below, and that means that I have for instance, at the very basic level, I'll have a concept list where if I've just got a vague idea of a video, I'll just throw it on the concept list, and then it'll move forward to scripting if it becomes an idea which sticks in my brain for a few days, and then from scripting to obviously production, and then from production to post and publication. So I have a workflow that everything goes through, and I'm constantly, as long as I'm constantly feeding the concepts in, it goes through that workflow. So and anything that I change, anything that I add to my process or my system has to be able to work within that. So it means that really, I mean, for instance, I've just got a new setup where I'm able to record a video, edit it, process it, and have it online within an hour. And the idea there is obviously if anything big happens breaking news wise, but it still looks the same quality as the stuff that takes me several more hours to work out. So it's all about saving time as much as you can as well, and concentrating on perhaps the steps that make the difference for your channel and for your videos to have some kind of success.
So I guess I always think that, Sean, it doesn't happen. Well, I guess it could happen by accident, but for most of us, whatever we do doesn't happen by accident. We actually have to mold it and figure it and go into it. And that doesn't guarantee us everything, but it gives us a little bit of a better shot.
Yeah, indeed. I mean, obviously, luck is and that is a factor there. But yeah, of course, as with anything, if you want it to succeed, you do have to put the time and effort in, and you have to cover all the bases and try to do things that other people aren't. Again, I'm on this journey, and I'm still only 5 or 10% into that journey, and the amount that I've learned from today as opposed to last year when I started making videos, is, you can't even describe the level of knowledge that's been built in that short space of time. So hopefully within another year, there'll be more leaps forward, etc. It's just about moving forward.
So I remember when we first started, when I saw you on with Journey About Northwest with Russell, who is
Yes.
just a favorite of mine. He will always be. He and Ashley and the babies, Bella and the little one, oh Colin, they're just a favorite of mine. But I remember you being ravenous about information, gathering information, so
Yeah.
that you could figure out how you were going to do this, what are the best steps to take. And I thought, you know what? I think he's going somewhere. I think he's going somewhere, because it's almost like you knew the kinds of information and the kinds of places to get that information, much so than someone who, well, let's take me for an example, who turned on the recorder, and I think my first video was, "Hi, how are you?" I'm it was something like that. I had done no research. I just one day decided to do it. And
But
I think
that's it, but that's the thing. But a lot of the high-end YouTubers will talk to people and say, don't just learn about how to make videos and how to make your videos look better and do X, Y, and Z, because actually you could throw $100,000 at a channel and there'll still be some kid on his mobile phone in his parents' basement that'll film videos that'll get several million views. So it's equally, it isn't just about that, but it's what I'm trying to do is pace the development of the channel with the size of the channel. So I'm trying to pace the two together to move things forward as I grow. And I still don't think that Geeksvana as a channel has necessarily even found its feet properly. There are still formats that I'm unsure about and new formats that I want to bring in and that type of thing. That you have to try these things and really see how they work out. But we all have it. We all have videos that, we'll put up videos that we've spent 20-30 hours on research and everything else like that, and you think they're going to be hugely popular and they get 100 views, and then you put something else up which takes you 10 minutes to make and it gets 6,000 views. You just, sometimes you don't know, and that's why you've got to make what you feel is right to you, and in my opinion, this is just my opinion, and what you enjoy making, because then you're essentially making the video for yourself, and hopefully other people will pick up on it and enjoy it.
the other thing I noticed about yours, and I think that's all very valid, I noticed that the stories you have, you actually do research and you go find the stories.
Yeah, I mean, it's started to become a little bit of a self-eating snake as well, from the point of view that I do go through the Facebook groups, I do go through the news stories, and I look for interesting stories and different things like that, like the Michigan chap that got arrested flying his drone in a park, and we did an interview with him and a follow-up, etc. And that actually helped grow the channel, because people did see a different side to Geeksvana with that. And again, because it's something like that, it's not on other channels and that type of thing. So it's people are coming to us for that type of unique content. But then actually, because we handled that correctly and we were good to that guy as far as putting the correct picture out there and getting his story across properly, people watch that are in similar issues, and then people like Benjamin Dodson, etc., those type of people then actually end up approaching us themselves. So you do start to get things start to come to you because of the way that you've dealt with things in the past as well. So it's about getting those first few stories out there, getting those first few interviews out there, and then getting known for a certain niche, and yeah, it coming back to you in the end.
So let me talk to you a little bit about how do you find the true stories? Because when people thought the Mavic 3 was coming out, there were stories just across this platform. People were doing whole shows on the Mavic 3. Now, I don't remember you doing one.
I had one video last year which talked about some of the rumors, but actually it was a video to say, be careful about the rumors. That actually
Right.
there's a big difference between when the Mavic Mini was leaked. We had actual pictures of it. The Ronin leaks recently. Again, we've got actual physical pictures of it. And the Mavic 3 we've seen nothing of, so there isn't any evidence to back up that the Mavic 3 is a real entity. I don't really have a problem. Some people have a problem with the rumor mill and that type of thing. I don't really have a problem with it. I don't like content police, if that makes sense. I don't like people that say you can't make a video about that because it's a rumor or this or that. Or, yes, there's an issue if someone makes a video and says the Mavic 3 is coming out next week and it's going to be priced $1,000 and it's going to have an 8K camera, blah, blah, blah. Of course, that's a bit of an issue because
Right.
they don't have that information. They shouldn't be saying that. But if they want to go on and talk about something that they've got information on that might be coming, and let's look at these rumors, etc., I've got no issue with that. I think sometimes people that go a little bit crazy about rumors and that are hard on people that put rumors out there and things, I think they are belittling the audience a little bit. That actually the audience are more than capable of saying, okay, yes, this is just a rumor. I haven't seen any fact to this, so I'm going to treat it like a rumor. But then when they see one that does have actual leaked photos, they'll take it a bit more seriously. So yeah, rumors are certainly part of the drone industry and
Oh,
the tech
yeah.
industry
Well,
widely.
I am not beating anyone up because I didn't watch anyone's rumor videos on it. Because I just figured, the guys in our chat, we see them now, like Paul Amnamna, Corey Mano, Distorted, Marcel, all the different guys in here, Capture Life, they're all going to know if it's coming. It's all going to start. We're going to get bits and pieces that sound real. And none of it seemed to me to sound real.
No,
And
yeah, I
so
mean,
it
yeah,
wasn't that
yeah,
it was bad. I think it was fun. It's
yeah,
like when we
exactly.
were getting those, what were those called, Paul? Those enterprises for $25, and I think Paul,
The
or
Inspire
whatever
story,
that
yes,
was.
yes. But
Oh
you
my
see,
God.
with that, rather than believing they're coming, we actually went away and we contacted Walmart and we talked to the company that was actually behind the software system that failed, and we got to the real story, as it were. So there's always a story behind a story, and that's what I enjoy chasing is finding out what's really going on behind it.
And I will tell you, but the fun of it was all of us talking about waiting for, and of course, Russell making paper ones. So
Yes,
he
making
had
his
one.
paper Walmart DJI.
It
Yes, yeah, it was good, wasn't
was great. And it
it?
took us through 5 shows laughing and talking and everyone getting involved in it. So I didn't have a problem with it. The fact is,
Yeah,
we always told the truth. We ordered them, we
yeah.
paid for them as far as we knew. So we always told the truth. It's just that we kind of realized they probably weren't coming.
Yeah, I think most people but didn't see them actually happening, which was but it was a bit of fun. And hey, if a few people ended up getting them, it would have been fantastic, wouldn't it? It would have been a very good
Would have
story.
been
So
so much fun. They would have been so much fun. So I don't mind the stuff that we have some fun with, but I think that sometimes all you have to put is DJI in the thing, and something's new, and you're going to hit a lot of views. Um,
yeah, but you have to remember though that there's a big difference between views and growth. There's a very big difference. You'll get some
right.
videos that you put out which actually once people start watching them, there isn't any real substance to them, and then they're gone. So I've had videos before that have had thousands of views and you get 20 subscribers from it, and other videos where actually they're a bit more specialized and they get less than 1,000 views, but you end up with 30 or 40 subscribers because it's information that isn't found anywhere else that those people have been seeking out, and they want to hear more of that type of thing in the future. So
Right.
it isn't just chasing numbers, which I think some people, when they do click, not clickbait, but when they do click the DJI into the titles of their videos, etc., that they think it's also going to bring growth, and actually a lot of the time it doesn't.
Yeah, it doesn't. It doesn't. So I
If it
want to
doesn't, if
bring
it
up,
doesn't have the substance, if it doesn't back up what the title says, of course.
right, and I want to bring up one other thing. I want to bring up the fabulous, wonderful Libby.
I thought you were going to say me, the
Yeah,
fabulous and
you
wonderful
too.
Sean.
You too, Sean. Libby is a beautiful young woman who is very talented, I think. The way she
Yes,
does stuff. Now she's Instagram. Is she also TikTok?
that's right. Yes.
That's right. That's where she got it from. I think I remember talking to you about that. They're thinking about stopping TikTok, but that's us here. And Libby is not in the United States, correct?
Yeah, she's not. But of course, if they ever did stop TikTok, there's 100 million users in the States, so it would effectively kill the app if it did happen. But there's so many stories going each way. I think we'll have to wait and see what the Chinese government do to in terms of the proposed buyout, and then how the Americans respond, etc. So I think it's one of the things caught in the crossfire at the moment. I don't think the argument's necessarily about TikTok. I think it's a wider political issue.
Yeah, I think it probably is. But I know that a lot of our young people are doing TikTok and they're very successful, not always smart in some of the stuff they do,
Indeed.
but they're ingenious anyway, right? They're very inventive. And I know that when they talk about taking something like that down, then we all start thinking about all the different platforms that can be gone overnight. Do you ever think about that as you're building that while you have this?
Um, I think the nature of YouTube and the way that YouTube has changed over the years is an issue. I think that the the way that I've been building the channel is aimed more towards sponsorship and outside earnings from that. And I don't mean from affiliate links or anything, but I mean actually,
Right.
you know, the drone show, the show with Lib is actually will very soon have a named sponsor that essentially will be paying us to produce that show. So that's more the way that I want to go, so that you're able to secure your income away from YouTube, and then whatever you end up earning from YouTube itself, fantastic.
So
Um,
do you remember us talking about me being your manager and the cut I would get?
hey, we're only a 3,000 sub. You know, come back and talk to us in.
No,
You
I'll
know.
take it. I'll take it. I'll take it.
And you know, one thing we've been having a lot of fun with recently is the channel memberships. We're getting to know our audience a lot better by having a one-on-one chat with the people that want to pay that monthly fee and get more access to us. They're having video meetups with us and that type of thing through
Well,
to
and you've done very well with yours. Now, I have a member in here right now, Paul.
Paul Murray, who's also a member of Geeksvana as well. So
Yeah, and I am
thank you, Paul.
too. And then, of course, Sean, you're a member,
Yes, I am indeed.
and so is Roger
Bless him.
and Destination. And I came about it. It's funny because I just told people, hey, listen, for a couple bucks, you can be a member. It's nice for me, it's nice for them. And then, of course, I'm a member of a few channels because I want to be.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean,
You know,
I've enjoyed it so far because it's a way of it's a core audience that are saying we want to hear even more from you. We want to know even more about you. So they are fans of the channel, and you're able to interact with those people a lot more often. And we have 3 levels, and the higher level, the more you get essentially. But those people are seeing they're seeing video content, they're seeing posts and interaction that no one else on the channel will see, which is also great because then the casual users, the people that just want to subscribe or not even subscribe and just watch a few of our videos, they can dip in and out as they want without having their feed bombarded by, behind the scenes with Lib and outtakes from our recent videos and that type of thing. It's like, actually, I don't want to see that, but I do want to see the drone news. So it gives it, I quite like that because it gives people that kind of interaction. But to answer your original question, we are trying to ensure that the growth is maintained by income away from the platform as well. But I think with YouTube, touchwood, apart from things like adpocalypses and things, I think it's fairly safe that it will probably be here, pending no competitor overtaking it, suddenly appearing. It will probably be here in the next few years.
Well, and they did think at one time Twitch would do that and some of the other ones, but they just haven't done it because
No, and but I think actually Twitch have gone a different way, and I think that's good. And I think they've carved out their own audience and their own way of doing things. I think it would have to be something completely left field to if anything was ever to compete with YouTube. Completely left field. But we'll wait and see. You go back to when MySpace was big, and no one ever would have necessarily thought that that would disappear, and everyone thought Facebook would be around for a long time, but it's becoming a bit of an old person's network rather than necessarily the one the youth engage with particularly.
It kind of is, and it's kind of become a little like too many polar opposites going on at one
Yes.
time. Used
Yes.
to be just about friends posting, went to see grandma today. Here's my picture of my flowers and my puppies. And now it's kind of got so much more involved. I got to say, I do not enjoy it the way I used to. Right? I just as soon talk to my friends here.
Yeah, no, indeed. I mean, I mean, Facebook. I don't really use. I use Facebook to share my videos on and that type of thing, but I don't use it on a personal. If anyone that is a friend of mine on Facebook, in the chat, you can see that
Computer
my
chick saying she still has MySpace. No,
yeah, I've still got my account actually as well. I still
I
have my
do
MySpace
not.
page.
I was not a
Yeah,
person. I'm sorry,
yeah.
I interrupted you, Sean.
No, that's okay. But yes, it's um, uh, whether or not something else comes along, I think we probably haven't even heard of the thing that will come along and take over YouTube, as in overtake it. But it's a monster, and it's changing as well. So it's no longer about edgy kids and PewDiePie doing silly things. It's becoming more and more corporate every day, and I think content that appeases that is probably going to do better, and that's why I've tried to make my content look a little bit more professional, because it does seem to do better than the more edgy content.
Yeah, I got to tell you, Sean, I've been really happy watching your growth, because I
Thank you.
think that when people put that much time in it, something needs to come back to them. I do know, having
Yeah.
said that, that all of these young men and women in my stream all put the time that they have to do it, and I enjoy it all. Can't always comment on it all, but we were talking about why commenting on things seems to be important when you're in a video, and not just saying, hey, Mr. Doughboy, I'll get okay, I'll take a break. Let's say hi to everyone in the chat, because we've been
Okay.
on for a half hour, and I'm really not wanting to. You guys have one eye here and one eye there. Pretty soon I'm going to look a little weird, because my eyes are going to naturally go that way. But Mr. Doughboy, just welcome. Love seeing you in here. And Melvin Ford, thank you for coming. This is so nice seeing you. Paul, you're doing a great job. Computer Chick, my gal, is in the house. We have John Coopy, Corey Mano, Distorted, AZ Drone Dude, Marcel, our Canadian guy. Phantom Hodges also. Capture Life, Stevie from the Bronx. I just love that name. It reminds me of the J-Lo song. Let's see, Phantom Hodges. I saw Herman in here, and Mana, Corey Mano. Okay, there's just so many in here. I just want to say welcome. Thank you for coming. This is just a video because I have so much I need to know. It's really just my curiosity, and I can't help it. So I'm making Sean tell me everything. So let me go back to Libby, because I kind of skated past her. What made you decide? Now, Libby wasn't just a neighbor or someone you just ran into, bumped into, and said, wow, you'd be perfect. You actually looked for Libby.
Yeah, I mean, I wouldn't say we specifically went out looking for a live show host. I think it's the relationship developed over time, became a few different things, and has become what it is now. I mean, I first came across her as a fan of her work, and I employed her to carry out a few clips for us, to make a few little sort of ending clips and that type of Easter egg type things around the channel, which people enjoyed. So then we worked on our channel trailer, the Geeksvana channel trailer together, which I personally find quite funny.
Yeah.
And then from there it sort of grew on, and then she started to do the weekly drone news updates, which turned into Lib's drone show. And then we decided to take the drone show as a concept into a live format, and that's where we are today. And it's working well, but it's again, it's something which has taken a lot of time, effort, and work to find the right format that suits myself and Lib and suits the audience and everything else like that, and to work it into something which is entertaining. Yeah, it was a lot of blood, sweat, and tears, but it's starting to come together in a very nice way.
Well, and I was privileged to be one of the ones you asked me to watch it. And I went in and I watched that. And I just thought there is something about this gal that is quite
Yes.
remarkable.
Yes.
I mean, her facial expressions, the way she talks, her delivery. I mean, that was ingenious of you to go and have her join you in what you're doing.
Yeah,
Because I like Lib and I don't even know her, but she's very likable.
Yeah, it was one of those fortunate situations where, you know, timing came together, and that type of thing. But it's really, I have 1,000 fingers and 1,000 pies at any one time, and I'm not necessarily looking for anything from that relationship. I'm not necessarily looking for anything from that line of inquiry or anything. But you know, I like to meet people. I like to find out about them and see what makes them tick. And I'm fortunate that a decent amount of those budding relationships become something which has a commercial benefit to it. And that is one that I hope will have one in the future.
Well, and I would say, I know you just don't go looking out for commercial relationships because you're my friend. You know, and my show's kind of thing, but yours is going great. So I think that's fabulous. Because I've been a fan of yours since you started.
Oh, thank you very much.
Yeah, because I think I watched the very first thing, and pretty much anytime I can catch it, I do. But hey, Louis P., but we were talking Canadian Drone Hub. We were talking at one point about get my brain back in about Lib going into those different channels, right? Going into that different stuff and growing in and of herself on a YouTube platform. So not only are you bringing her into what you're doing, but you're imparting information to help her should she decide to go into YouTube for what it's worth. I know you're a cool guy, but for what it's worth, yeah.
Yeah, I mean, it's about, you know, everybody learning from each other and growing from each other, and you know, wherever that ends up. Honestly, I would be happy if Geeksvana ended up a huge success and Lib was the boss. I'd still be happy because I'm part of it. So it's about going into these things and seeing where they go in a natural way, and not necessarily letting your ego or having a particular objective in mind. And just trying to work with people and just, you know, be chill and see where it goes.
Well, and that's the one thing I really like about you, because I call you, I pick your brain. I say, you know, these are the different directions, and you're always honest. I don't always take the advice, but you're always honest with me. I call Paul every now and again. I go, what's happening? And then Paul does the same thing. I think this community is based around people. But what I've also noticed with the people who fall from the community is almost always ego driven. Not always, but
Yeah.
we get damaged so easily.
Yeah, I mean, again, I think YouTube is a unique space where you have people doing YouTube for a number of reasons and a number of objectives, and all of those people come together in their different niches, be it, you know, cosmetics or weight loss or drones, whatever that niche may be.
Right.
And everybody that comes together doesn't necessarily have the same objectives in mind. So you do get that sort of resistance and clash sometimes. That's always going to happen, because you have people that come on there that actually they already have a successful business, but they want to get that business online so that they can get the word out even more about their business, or someone that wants to be the next PewDiePie or you know, the next Billy Kyle or something like that. So you've got such a range of different types of creator in each community. But I find typically, you know, most of the drone community are are very open and very helpful. And I've had advice and guidance from so many creators, some large, some small, and it's incredible sometimes which pieces of advice actually help and actually work for you. It's incredible.
Yeah, I kind of try to step back from too much advice giving, because I think that with my channel, you have to really be growing to be able to talk to someone about how to grow. And you know, a lot.
I feel the same way. I feel exactly the same way. But also because I feel the same way about my channel. Means when someone says to me, "Oh, you've grown, you've done this, you've done that," and I'm like, "It's doing okay." It's not exactly setting the world alight, but it's doing okay. But and then I agree with you. I then don't feel like I'm in any kind of position to offer any kind of advice. But it's where I find that actually that's where you need to consider what people are saying to you and try and adapt it to your own situation rather than necessarily copy what someone's doing or follow exactly what someone's doing, because everyone's different. And I could upload a video that another creator has got 1 million views from, and if that had never been uploaded and I uploaded it instead, it might have got 1,000 views. So different things work for different people. The different presenting styles work for different people and that type of thing. So it is about finding your own voice. And again, I don't feel like that my channel's even done that yet. I think we're a ways off defining ourselves about exactly what we do. And I think it'll be, it's fun finding out where it will go. It's not necessarily going in the direction I necessarily thought it would originally. And probably in a year's time, it'll be something slightly different to what I think it is now. So, and that's what you've also got to do. You've got to be adaptable and go where the channel, if you want your channel to grow, and go where the channel grows. If you just want to put your drone videos out there for people to enjoy, fantastic, crack on. But if you do want, if you want some kind of growth, then you do have to go with the growth a little bit as well sometimes.
And I've noticed there's no one's channel on here right now that I couldn't go watch a video and expound on what they did and why that makes that such a good video. But for some reason, I think some of our drone channels, especially our FPV, they don't get as much watch as I think that they should. Hi, Infinite Flight Guy, because I go in and watch him and I know what it takes to do what they're doing because I can't do it.
Exactly.
And so, and even when we look at the flights, some of the flights with the GPS, I see what they do, how they just manage to take this little scene and make it just expound on it, make it so beautiful. And I always sit there and think they're putting the work in, they're doing the thing, and yet for some reason, it seems a little bit like they're not getting the watch of the subscribers that I would have thought they would get.
Yeah, which is always difficult. I mean, there is literally, for every channel there will be multitude of reasons why that channel isn't growing, and a lot of the time it can be nothing to do with that person and nothing to do with that creator. It could be the ecosystem of YouTube isn't suiting their content. There's so many different reasons that I don't understand. I mean, and again, you speak what I love are the channels with millions of subscribers that will turn around to you quite honestly and say, I still don't understand the algorithm. I still don't fully understand what works and doesn't work on YouTube. But actually, thankfully XYZ has worked for us, and we've continued on that path. So it's very difficult to see what will work and what won't work, and especially as you say, when you're watching smaller channels, thinking, why isn't this channel bigger and why hasn't this got more views? It's a very complex answer behind that.
Yeah. So now I would like to talk to you a little bit more on how you find that drone news. I know you say you go through Facebook, you're looking in there, you're looking different.
It depends on the story. Yeah, it depends on the story. I can find things through contacts. Obviously, the more I do this, I'm a writer by trade, so I have a fair number of contacts out there anyway, and I just have to hone those down to the people within that community who are drone contacts. I get a reasonable amount of stories now off the back of the fact that we do drone news. Yeah, it is about, you know, hunting a story out and then going down the rabbit hole to see where it goes, but not necessarily stopping at, oh, this is a story, I'm going to report this story, and reading that story out. It's more, to me, it's more about finding an angle on that story that perhaps will add a bit more value to the audience, if we put a video out about it. So it's trying to find something interesting and unusual, which will also hopefully engage. But as I say, each video has like a 15-step process that it has to pass before it goes into production, so that hopefully we have more chance of putting out what someone will like. And I'm not talking about just saying, you know, oh, we'll only put out videos that will get lots of views, because that's not the case. I've got some videos that barely have 200 views, but I love those videos. It's more about making sure that they define what our channel is, and that they tell the story in an open, factual way as possible.
Well, see, I think one of the very special things about having you on, well, having any of the people, I love interviewing people. It doesn't have to be big channels. I love getting my curiosity satiated. That's all I'm going to say. I have a lot of things I want to know, and then that does it. But one of the nice things about having you on is I really do believe you're going to grow much bigger and bigger. And I thought that from the beginning. And so now we get a chance to get to know you before it gets harder to get to know you. Does that make
that'll never be the case, and I think if you look at, I mean, I'm up for the ride, and I'm happy with what's going on with the channel. Who knows what's around the corner? Who, you know, no one knows. But one of the things that the people that I look up to are people like Kelly Shaw's from Ready Set Drone, who's extremely approachable. He's a great guy. He will sit and chat and spend time with anybody when he has the time, etc. And it's fantastic. So I think that's also something about the drone community, is that there's so many creators out there that I know I can pick up the phone to and just chat to and ask advice and you know, get their view on certain things, etc. And that's very important as well. So the more approachable you are, the more open to new possibilities that you are, the more things will happen for you, in my opinion.
So talk to me about how you get to all the live streams and the other things you do, because I know your time is getting extremely precious, and you have to decide where you're going to be.
Yeah. I mean, that's always a difficult question. I'm not. We also have our own live streams. We're about to go to once a week, so my time is going to become even more precious. So that's why I'm doing it, going to once a week, I don't know, but anyway, because it takes a lot to put on the show that we're putting on. But we're doing a different show. But anyway, that's another subject. But I mean, as far as getting around, I love drones. I love the subject matter. So actually, it's not difficult for me to be on a lot of live stream chats, especially because actually I'm there watching it. I'm enjoying that stream. I'm enjoying the content. I'm enjoying what's going on, and it's easy, really. You know, it's an easy thing to do. So I have a lot of them on, especially when I'm working in my day job, when I'm writing and that type of thing. I'll have a lot of them on in the background and listening to, and I love listening to and watching people from all over the world in the drone community that live stream. There's so many good streams out there.
There are, and it's hard to get around to them. And I know that with my work, I'm finding less and less time to get anywhere.
Yeah, we see that's one of my advantages, because if you work from home, and you know, I'm not working from home in the sense that I have to be on the phone a lot or anything, that type of thing. So I can have things on in the background. So I'm able to appear that I don't get much sleep, as some people think.
Yes, I know. That's what
but I actually get a lot more sleep than people realize. But actually, it's because it's one, a mixture, as I say, because I work from home, so it's easy for me to get around. But two, because I love the community and I love drones. So it's actually, if before I was creating and before I had my channel active, I was in and around the channels an awful lot anyway, but under a different name. So it just became the Geeksvana name when the channel launched.
Yeah, and I thought that was a great name. So I want to give I know I told you we'd only spend an hour, but I want to give people time to ask things. And I didn't even get half through what I wanted to talk about. So,
I'm in no rush.
okay, so let me ask some questions.
I'm in no rush, but I've got to go in 5 minutes.
I know it's
No,
not
I'm
a rush,
joking.
guys. Does anyone, please, if you have questions for Mr. Sean, please let us know. Let's see, work and tech have to get away from the computer at times to break away and get outside. True, true, true.
Exactly.
And me too, me too. Yeah, I sit all day in front of the computer now. And so my eyes are actually feel like they're bleeding sometimes.
Yeah, no, indeed, it's important. And as Computer Chick says, you do have to get out there. I mean, when we finished the preview live stream yesterday, we shut the entire studio down, and we didn't set foot in here again until just before I went on to those guys and then on here tonight. You know, you do have to get away from it all. And actually, that's one of the things that I found that's helped me is bulk production. So because I have that little process that I'm talking about where I will get my scripts ready and everything, and I'll have all my videos being produced in the background that I'm working on a few videos at once at all times, I'll then spend one day filming all those videos, and then I have all those ready to go, as it were, and then it's just putting them through the edit process and slowly releasing them. So it is about using the time as wisely as you possibly can as well. But I'm a big fan, and I don't do it enough yet, but I'm a big fan of the mass production side of things, producing lots of videos in one day and then having that content to release during the week, which frees you up to do other things.
So one thing I was thinking about, John, is you and I had a talk, and you said something about someone said 100 videos in 100 days.
Or 100 bad videos. Make 100 bad videos.
That is not as hard as you think.
Yeah.
Guys, I could do 100 bad videos.
Well, I'm just a believer in that you know, when I started out and I was like, what do I need, what kind of video do I need to make, and I'm still in that process now, and it is I do believe in the just go out and make 100 bad videos, and actually by the end of that you'll be surprised how much you've learned from it. You'll be surprised how much you change during that process, and you know, you view your first video to your 100th video, just how much it's moved forward, and you'll also be surprised how much of an audience you would have gained as well. But the biggest and the most important thing about YouTube is making content and putting content out. And if you're not doing that on a regular basis, and you become you know, almost paralyzed by not knowing what to do and what to make next, etc., that's when you start falling backwards.
Yeah, and I was thinking, I thought, you know, and guys, you know, he gave me really good advice about writing down all my ideas and kind of going through those. What great advice. Because I tell you, I've had like 3 pages full of stuff. So it's giving me a lot more direction, and it's actually telling me what I don't want to do.
Yes, exactly. And also, if you write an idea down, you think, okay, now I've got to make that idea into the basis of a video. So I've got to think about what I'm going to do in that video. And you think, oh, actually, I could do this, I could do that, or I can do X, Y, Z. For instance, you know, they can go one of two ways. I had the video where I was how not to get arrested flying your drone. And yeah, I started thinking about that video and thinking, okay, it's an important message to put out there, but how can I present it? And I remembered I have a friend who's an actor who acts as a policeman in a lot of crime TV series. So I messaged him because of COVID. Obviously, everything's shut down at the moment. There's not much production happening, especially a month ago when we filmed that. So he was up for it and thought it was a great idea. It was a great excuse to see each other. I hadn't seen each other since the beginning of lockdown, so it was a great excuse to meet up with a friend. And then the video started getting legs, and it became, you know, a good video for us, and that video has helped the channel grow. We have gained an awful lot of subscribers from that video. And then another video I'll produce, which I'll think is, you know, I don't know, I have put DJI Mavic 3 on that list 10 times in the last 6 months, and I haven't made any of the videos, and none of those videos actually made it through. So sometimes you'll be also surprised when you do start formatting into lists of concepts, what actually gets through to the final stage.
Right.
But actually then what you do end up producing, as you say, you end up knocking off the things that actually I just don't want to film that. I'm not into that. I don't want to do that. And then you'll be surprised what actually does come out the other end.
Well, and that's the funny thing, because that's what I'm noticing. So when you told me, I thought, oh no, if I have an idea, I'm sure it's going to be fantastic and I'll probably do it. And I was just going through taking it and just crossing them out. And I thought, because if I do a video I super enjoy, it's going to show that I like doing that video.
Exactly.
And if I do things I'm not quite into, it's also going to show that.
Yeah. I mean, it is important. It's important to enjoy it. And I found that I love drones, and hence why I am everywhere on in the drone chats, etc.
Yeah.
But I really love YouTube as well. It's become a second hobby. You know, I have the hobby of drones, but actually YouTube's become a hobby as well now, and it's something I enjoy. And I enjoy breaking down what would make my videos better, in my opinion, what would, you know, make them more interesting, that type of thing, and just developing them slowly over time. I've really enjoyed that process, because I am someone that does have a bit of OCD, so I do like to break things down and obsess about every single little part. And perhaps with YouTube, that's something that benefits from that type of analytical way of looking at things, because the more you put into it, the more you certainly get back, I've found so far.
And I think that's true. I think that's absolutely true. And it's finding the energy to keep going, but it's also finding the courage when it doesn't work.
Yeah, I mean, to be honest, it's a difficult thing, but you know, the more everybody does it, everybody says, "Ah, don't worry about the numbers," you know. But obviously, as a YouTube creator that wants to grow, you do worry about the numbers. But actually, honestly, the less you worry about them, the more things seem to happen. Because, like I say, you know, I can have a video that has 10,000 views, and I'll look at it a month later and we've had 4 subscribers from it. I'll look at another video that's got 300 views and we've got 25 subscribers from it. So it's you never know necessarily what's going to trigger people over it. I mean, and it could be that people watch that 10,000 video, then 25 of those people then watch the next one and then subscribe. So if it's easy to, and it's important to look at, in my opinion, this again is only my opinion, it's important to look at your analytics and how things are going, as far as what's already happened. So having a look at your stats and going, oh, that worked, I didn't realize that would happen. And you start to build a bigger picture over a work of, you know, 30, 40, 50 videos. But trying to worry about them almost as soon as they happen, as they're happening now, I find just doesn't work. Because also you don't know, a video that has 100 views this week, in 6 months' time, for some reason, could suddenly spike and end up getting 10,000 views. You just don't know what's going to happen. So yeah, I think the more you obsess over the figures, the more of a lonely thing YouTube creation becomes.
Well, and I think if you go too hard on the numbers, where you're watching every subscriber and they'll go down, then that's what starts to lead to you wondering, why does he get a grow? Why don't I get a grow? Why does he get a grow? And it
Yeah.
starts, hey, Paul, I sent you a link, and I sent a link out to Roger if you guys want to come in, because I told you and we were up with the time. But I think it gets very easy to get discouraged and wonder why other people get to have and you're not getting to have. But the one thing about me is I've always been kind of truthful with myself. I look at the people growing and I honestly see why. I see why they're growing, and
yes, but then you get other channels. You get other channels that you know. It's very difficult. You've either got to be a millennial focused channel that really clicks with that audience, and then you are going to grow like crazy, and or you know, you happen across something happens, and some reason one of your videos goes viral, and that gives you a platform to grow from. Or you have to do things the way that I've done them so far, which is grinding it out, basically, which is, you know, looking to try and improve each video from the last one, and yeah, really just grind things out subscriber by subscriber. And I love every single one of the people that have subscribed to my channel, because it's, you know, every subscriber that we've gained has taught us something new, and we've got a fantastic audience who are so who were so interesting in the comments, that you know, again, I've learned an awful lot, and that's one of the things that I find important as well, that actually having genuine conversations with your viewers in the comments can actually help you grow an awful lot. And you know, not just, you know, if someone does say something in the comments, I always answer them, because I've learned as much from my viewers as I hope I've taught them. So
yeah, sent through. Okay, Paul, I sent yours to Facebook Messenger, because I know you get that and you may not get the other. Well, I think it's just always important. I always remind people, most people grow, don't fall into clover. They do the work on the front end. And it really feels like, you know, like if I said, well, I've done that too. I've been here 3 years, but I haven't done it the way other people have done it. I mean, I've seen people do work that is crazy, that grind that they're willing to do, and doing that kind of thing. And they usually get something back from it. So it's dependent on what you put into it, and then a sprinkling of leprechaun magic.
Exactly. I mean, there is the hard work that you have to do, which is, you know, there are 20 steps, 20 stages that all of my videos have to go through, whether they're a 2-minute news flash or a 20-minute interview. There's a process that all my videos go through to make them ready for air. And as long as you're covering those bases and you just keep producing the content, then you will probably find an audience out there.
Yeah, and I got to say that my videos, I don't know if you noticed, do not go through that process.
Everyone's
my dog's in the car.
There are as many roads to success as YouTube creators out there. So
when you're sweet to say so.
Because again, you could do everything I do and it doesn't work, and
right.
I could do everything you do and I end up with 1 million subscribers by tomorrow morning. You know, you just don't know what's going to work for who sometimes, and you have to be happy with what you're doing. Right.
And I will say that I wish that that were occurring with me, but I think things happen in their time. And I think that it needs to happen in its time. Because I am getting ready to change my show. I talked to you about Geeksvana. It's going to be a little bit different than where it was going, because I know what I really like, and I know what I like watching, and I know, you know, the people in my community I love, and hopefully they'll be with me, because I'm still going to be flying drones, still doing my interviews, but I'm going to be doing content that's a little bit different.
Awesome.
But yeah, because that's what I like, and I've decided, I know Computer Chick said she's a variety show, and that I'm thinking is a good thing. But I also want to be doing that. But that's why I took the FPV off for now, because it's really a show more about my life. And that's how that's going to center. And I started with that and then I stopped it. I think I should have continued. But, you know, I have to go where my interests lead me. And
you do. You know, you have to remember, at the end of the day, it's your channel, and when things, if something works or fails, you know, at least, you know, the old song that you did it your way. It is very important. And whenever I hang up my YouTube hat, be it next week, as I feel sometimes, or in 5 years' time, 10 years' time, whatever, it's important that I feel like I did things the way that I wanted to do them, and that I went through a process and that I learned something. And that's what I've always tried to do with everything I've done in my life from a professional point of view, that I always try to make sure I come out the other side much more knowledgeable, and that I'm able to, offer something to my next enterprise from the previous one. And that's certainly what YouTube is for me. It's so many of the things I've done in my life funneled, all those skills funneled together, basically.
Well, and I don't think, Sean, I would have been happy not building drones. Really a show more about my life. And that's how that's going to center. And I started better the second time. Continued, but
Roger the terrorist has just come in with his audio. Hey, Roger.
But I
So
wouldn't have been happy not building my drones. I wouldn't been happy not getting my 107. Sometimes something's out there and I gotta conquer it a little bit. I gotta climb that hill because it just intrigues me to do it. So I do it. And the
Yep.
Maverick 2 is
Exactly.
still so darn intriguing, and FPV and all that, but other things are too, which is crazy. Marcel, thank you. You're so sweet. He is very sweet. But that's what I'm always thinking. And Paul, I sent you a link in DM, so if you wanted to come in. I have this thing where I have to know about Paul's animals every week. We have the animal check-in as part of the show when he'll come on because I gotta know, are the squirrels there? Are there possums? Are the skunks taking over Paul's house?
It is very important. I'll let you say hello to our other cohorts. I will be back in just 2 minutes time.
Okay.
Thank you.
So Capture Life. Yeah, I just love seeing you.
Something's changed.
Huh?
Something has changed on here.
Where?
I told you it's changed on Zoom.
What?
Live on custom live streaming service.
Yeah, that's what I did. Yes.
Paul traps them, I saved them, Catcher Life.
Oh yes. Capture Life. That was a good one. When he took the yogurt thing
Yeah,
off,
I still didn't see it.
I have to go and share it on my channel because that was fabulous. Busy feeding the squirrels. I just love it. I just love seeing all of that. I think Capture Life, you were actually, that was perfection. You going out and taking care of that. And I meant to share it, but I've so run out of time right now. But that was a good one. That was a really good one. Yeah. Geeksvana, did you have a chance? We probably need to get you to see that, where Stevie from the Bronx, Capture Life Connection, went out and he actually had found a skunk with a yogurt thing on its
Oh
head.
no,
It off,
I didn't see that actually.
and he cut it off.
Awesome.
Yeah,
That's very
that
cool.
was so good. Yes, I'm going to share it on my Facebook and I'm going to put it on Twitter because I think that's fabulous. Hey, Enterprise, how you doing?
Hey JSK.
If it
Hey,
isn't-
Leonard.
It's Kim's life. I'm just saying. So, anyway, we can go into more general chat, but Geeksvana, I just got to tell you, Sean, I appreciate the fact that you're always so open to coming on the channel and taking your time and letting me pick your brain about things that are going on and what you're doing. And I need to get more back to OBS and back to my Stream Deck because I think it's going to help, especially like what we just saw. I got off work. Okay, really quickly, this is what I go through. I get off work. Lillard, the terrible, the really bad doggy, he always comes in, sits down by my car in the garage and barks till I come out there because we go get him a puppuccino. And I say, by we, I mean me. So I get him in the car. I drive down to the coffee place, say, can I have a puppuccino? They give me that whipped cream with some doggy bones in it. He eats it, then he just takes it by himself and he just goes crazy.
Awesome.
So every day we do that. So I got off work late today and I was running so late because there were some things I had to do with the customer. And all of a sudden I hear this barking in the garage. I'm like, no, I open the garage. I don't have time for you today. You stop. And he's just looking at me like, just waiting. So finally I get out there, like, get in the car. Just get in the car. I can do it. Fine, I'll do it.
Oh,
I'm
fantastic.
driving like a mad woman. I get him his darn puppuccino. He takes it from me and just cream everywhere.
Bless him. That's so cute.
And then I brought him home.
Those puppuccinos are awesome.
Yeah, he has to have them. Then I was like, just get out of the car, you mean dog. But he's so cute. I can't help it. I take pictures of him all the time. I have 2 other dogs, and that one is just so bad. He's so cute. Hey, Edge, how you doing? Nice to see you. But anyway, let me ask you a question. Yeah, get the puppy is puppuccino. Let's just say yes. I don't have the heart to tell him no.
Exactly.
I was so much stricter with my children. No, we are not getting another what the hell there. No, 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 no. You had one yesterday, maybe next week. But that dog just looks at me, and next thing you know, I'm in the car racing down going,
Oh.
I told Sean I'd be there. He only got 10 minutes.
Hey, we made it. We made it.
We did.
We made it, and he got his puppuccino. So
And he got-
all is good. All is good.
Yeah.
And the world is right.
Exactly.
And the world is right.
And just think, we could be sitting here telling the story of how your dog didn't get his puppuccino, and we'd all be, we'd all be a lot sadder and feeling a lot more, you know. And all we got out of it was an hour with Geeksvana, and actually, we'd all have preferred the dog to get his puppuccino.
I need to get someone in to look at my furnace because it was leaking water. There was problems.
Ouch.
Comes out to work on it. My dog escapes. I have to open the door to get him to come back because he thinks he's going to get a puppuccino. It was after work, and he knew it was time. He was not happy. Opened it. He jumped in. I closed the door. Wasn't hot in the car. So I finally, I got to get him back in the house. So come on. He wouldn't move. So I finally shut the door. He sat there waiting patiently for an hour. And then I got in the car and took him and got him his puppuccino.
That's fantastic.
There is no quit in that dog.
What a character.
There is no quit. There is no quit.
It's how it should
Andres,
be.
if there was one thing you could tell someone who wanted to start a channel, and it does not even to be the best channel or whatever, what kind of advice would you give them?
Starting a channel, I don't know, because I don't really see myself as in a position to necessarily be able to offer that kind of advice. But I would, from my own experience, I would say just get on with it. I mean, when I started, I had a terrible laptop, and did I even have it? I didn't even have a camera. My first videos were voiceover news things where I would show the news and just talk over them. So
that.
just start, basically. Just get out there and start, and really try to make as many videos as you can whilst learning from those videos. But the biggest thing which stops, in my opinion, again, this isn't necessarily, this isn't a Sean teaches thing or anything, because I'm not in a position to do that, but from my experience, the biggest thing that will stop you is basically yourself, just not getting on with it, just not getting up that day that you've planned to do something and finding excuses not to do it, or not to do this or not to do that. I have the advantage that I don't have children, but I feel sorry for anybody that tries to run a YouTube channel that has kids, because it's a very difficult thing to try and find the time between the two things. So I have that advantage for YouTube, I suppose. But yeah, I mean, really, it's try not to procrastinate too much, and just do it, basically. And don't worry about, if you think, oh, I really want to make this video, but I don't have this camera or this light, or I can't do it because I don't have this. Just make the video anyway, and you'll be surprised if you make 100, as a lot of the big YouTubers say, make 100 bad videos and then assess where you are, basically. Just make the videos.
So can I ask Roger the same thing? If you had someone who started out saying, hey, I want to do live streams, because that's where your expertise is, Roger, what would you tell him?
Good luck.
I was about to say Roger's answer to that will be don't.
Pass close to saying that too, but no.
Yeah.
Yeah, live stream is a unique beast. It's a very unique beast, and it's you know, obviously Roger's carved out a very unique place with Canadian Drone Hub that others do try to imitate, but don't get anywhere close. Yeah, live streaming is a very, very unique beast. It's a very unpredictable thing where you know, at least when you're recording a video, if you mess something up, you can just hit pause and then gather yourself, then right, I'm ready now, and then carry on recording. Whereas if something happens during a live stream, it's out there for everybody to see.
I know I've gone on Roger's stream and didn't know he's on live, and I'm going, you know, I was thinking, and Roger's like, we're live. And he goes, why? What do you think I was thinking? But it's correct. But I have really noticed, let's say about Roger's channel in particular, he loves his community and he loves YouTube, where even though it's a bear, this is a connection. This is community. And so I think that's what he loves to do, is have his coffee, have his cigarette, which he shouldn't be having, I'm just saying. But then he goes and he sits down like in a diner. He brings the friends on and they all sit around and talk like a bunch of old men drinking coffee and smoking cigarettes. But it's so interesting. It is so interesting. It really is, Roger.
It makes 33 months now. I've been doing this 7 days a week.
Yep.
Ouch.
7 days a week.
Sometimes 2 times a day, sometimes 3 times a day, but 2 times the most. But I'm having fun.
That's true, and I think that.
Could you say that again and just convince us a little bit more? that you really are having fun?
I'm having fun.
Excellent.
Yeah.
Hey, and without Canadian Drone Hub and Roger's streams, we would never have met the Mana duo that is Paul's puppets. So.
And let me just say, with Paul not in here, aw, too bad. We don't have to find the mute button, Paul. Yeah, puppet start. That's part of Paul's wild kingdom.
Yeah.
It is. It is. So I think that's one of the things I think about. I think when I see people with longevity, a lot of it's because they really enjoy what they're doing. Because why else would you be on here?
Yeah, you know, it's the same as anything. The people who have been in the hobby for decades, people like XJet that have been in the hobby for decades and decades, and if they can make anything, if they can strap any kind of motor to anything and make it fly, they'll do it. Or even,
right.
I mean, he built a jet car, so he doesn't actually even need to fly. But you know, the fascination for people there in the hobby that keeps them going, and that's kind of how camera drones are for me, and YouTube is for me. That the two things are separate hobbies which come together very nicely for me. Although, you know, we are starting to feature more general tech on the channel, which will be a growing area for us, I hope. Yeah, and hey, you never know. You might even see me flying FPV relatively soon. That's all I'll say there. That's all I'll say. You'll see me flying, otherwise known as crashing.
Yes.
Well, that's part of the game.
Exactly. I mean, to be honest, I've kind of stayed away from FPV because of my OCD, my sort of obsessive side of my personality. Whereas, you know, with YouTube, I've had to break it apart and find out how everything works. And with camera drones, it's a similar hobby for me. But it's much easier because obviously with camera drones, I can just wipe it down afterwards, stick it in a bag and in the cupboard, and it will still do exactly the same thing next time. But with FPV, I'm worried that I will go down that rabbit hole and I will never be seen again. And it'll be sort of, you know, the Howard Hughes of FPV. You'll come in one day and I'm there with my long fingernails trying to solder a board and things.
Especially when you build your first one.
Yeah, exactly.
That's the trap. You have to be careful.
Yeah, I think, you know, if my first venture will probably be something like the Easy Max system, the RTF package. That it's going to be something like that with a lot of time spent on the simulators. But yeah,
the beauty part when you build your own, you learn about what's in that
Yeah,
are ready
yeah.
to fly.
But I think if I started to build, I would obsess over it too much, and it would just become a beast in my life again. Or
I hear you.
which I mean, and to me, when if I ever get into FPV, it will be getting into FPV for cinematic shots. Still, I won't necessarily be wanting to get
That's
into it
nice.
to do lots of tricks and stunts, etc., and freestyle necessarily. It'll be much more like wanting to get cinematic stuff, which again is a different style of FPV flying, and it's a different style of drone even. So yeah, we shall see what the future holds.
And I
There's a very large part of my brain that says don't do it, because I know if I go near anything, I have to know exactly how everything works. I'm not sure I want to go down that rabbit hole.
But I tell you, I think it's one of those things. What I found with FPV is it takes a lot of time. And I don't really have the time to do it justice, but I do want to fly when I go to Canada. I do want to fly when I'm with Kim. I do want to fly when I'm with the boys, because they're so much fun to fly with. Not as much when I'm just by myself. It doesn't feel the same to me. I don't know why. But GPS, that's good. I've been watching Roger's stuff, and he's really doing good. So I've
Yeah,
been
he's lighting
watching
it
all
up.
the people
It's awesome.
doing their drone flights. And I'm thinking that, I want to do that, but I want to become more cinematic. I want to go beautiful places, done beautiful ways. And I don't have the skill for it right now. So I'm
You
trying
will.
to learn that.
It'll come. It'll come. It's exactly what I was saying with YouTube. You've got to go and have 100 bad flights, and then actually, at the end of that, you look back at it and go, actually, that one was pretty good, and this flight was. Look at the footage from this flight, and actually, there's 30 seconds here I quite like, and that sort of thing. And you have to go through that pain, and I don't post any of. I mean, that just because of the way that my channel. If you go back to to last year, there's quite a few flights on there, but I don't post flights anymore, mainly because it would confuse the algorithm as far as what my channel is supposed to be about, which is bizarre, but never mind. But also, yeah, I quite enjoy having the flights to myself, and I share them in some of the groups and that sort of thing with like-minded pilots, etc. And I enjoy that side of the hobby remaining my own, if that makes sense. Remaining my own thing that I do and that I relax with, rather
Sean,
than
you have the MA2, right?
Yes, sir.
What do you think of it? It's nice, huh?
Yeah, it's really, really good. It's a really good drone. It's obviously got a lot of the tech from some of the larger ones like the Mavic 2 Pro with the OcuSync and that type of thing in a much smaller aircraft. It's very quiet. It's quite twitchy, and I really do enjoy flying it. I haven't really found a fault with it yet, and I fly my Mini still a lot, because the Mini's obviously that's something that can always be with you, so you're able just to, if you happen across somewhere that's good to fly, you just get that one out of the box so quickly. But I also fly the Parrot and Affy as well. And I really enjoy that drone. I always call it the sports car of drones, because it's very twitchy. It's like a dragonfly in the sky, and obviously it doesn't have obstacle avoidance. It doesn't have the no-fly zones and things like that. So you're able to assess the location yourself and just take off with it. It's incredible, and that has the 3x zoom and everything else like that as well, actually. So it's a good little drone, the Anafi. It's overlooked, especially if Parrot have now moved on to doing commercial drones only. It's overlooked by a lot of people, but it's a good piece of kit.
So Stevie from the Bronx, Capture Live, said he also would target a cinematic look if he did FPV, but he just doesn't have time. Well, he has children and he's doing so much stuff. Corey Manna says it's a love-hate relationship with YouTube. I can see that, Corey. I can see that in my own and what I think, because for a while there I was thinking, oh look, they took my people away. But one thing I've been starting to notice, as if you can continually keep growing, there's only so much they can take before they just give it up. And then you get to grow. I haven't got to that place yet, but that's where I'm going to go because I've been kind of standing still for like 6 months. And so that's when I stopped and I thought, it's really hard on me to try to blame, not that anyone's doing that, believe me. I'm not saying they are, but to blame things outside myself because I'm just too egotistical. I think I control the world. So if it's not working, it's because something I'm doing is not working. That's how I look at it.
Yeah, but don't even necessarily look at is something working or not. Just keep doing it. Just keep doing something, and keep that list going of videos that you want to make, and keep going back to it, and keep promoting something further up the chain. And then suddenly you're making videos that have gone at least through some kind of process of selection, and you'll be surprised at actually how well some of them will do. And it's disappointing. Sometimes I'll put many hours into a video and it won't do very well, either through views or subscribers. And that's disappointing. But then you think, okay, well, at least I enjoyed making the video. I now know all those facts that I've imparted in that video, and you move on to the next one, and the next one works for you. So it is just about just carrying on, keeping that consistent level of content.
Right. It's like
coming
the
out.
guys that are in here. I've seen their flights. I've seen all these guys' vids, and they're very good. And there's no doubt about it. They're great. I mean, and they're all growing as far as their skill.
One thing I would say as well, though, is that with anything, and especially with people that are putting a lot of flights out and things, is try and find a different angle. Try and find something different. With my channel, I found something different from the point of view that it's coming at things from the drone news side of things, although I still have drone tip videos and that type of thing. I'm not just putting out drone flights because I feel like there's a lot of that out there already. If you want to grow, you just want to put your drone flights out for people to enjoy, fantastic, not an issue. But if you do want to grow, you need to find something. Obviously find your niche, which for us is drones, but then find a unique way of presenting that niche. And if you have flights, think about a more unique way of doing that.
I'm reading you, Plum, and I'm thinking that too. But okay, Cory Mano. He came on, and he doesn't always put up a lot of videos, but he came on and he was racing with us in Velocidrone. It made me so nervous. I keep crashing right when I start. Nobody can keep up with him. I mean, that's how great a pilot he is. So his channel should be just huge. Thank you, Plummet. And Plummet's videos, fantastic. Edge, he helps everyone.
Awesome.
And do stuff. He is let's see, yeah, if I would get off my I know it's all about that editing, Edge. It is. Kim and I are working on editing, trying to get it down a little bit better because I need it. But Kim did something that I thought was silly. He put up a video trying to find his camera because his camera was hiding, and he goes, where did that thing go? But when he was showing me the video before he put it up, he was talking. Help me, find me, find me. It was so hysterical. And then I went to watch the video because I thought, oh my God, that's so great. He didn't have any of that in there. Did you, Kim?
The audio was on. I don't know why you couldn't hear me talking.
Well, it wasn't like what you were saying when you were talking to me. Where are you?
Well, I mean, I was talking, but the camera wasn't picking it up. I was actually standing on it. Right in the beginning, you see a foot. I was standing. I go, "Where are you, you little shit?" Because it was very.
I tried to find it, and I just thought I wanted him to do the voiceover or let me do it while we were zooming, but he got it up there too fast. I was like, that would be so funny and so good. Hey, Robert, because I thought, wow, oh yeah, Velocidrone is now doing combat.
Geeksvana. Sean, if you want an FPV, I suggest do simulator.
Yeah, no, absolutely. I will be doing. Yeah, if it happens,
a lot of money.
If it happens, yeah, that will be one of the things which I'll be spending a lot of time in for sure. But it's as I say, it's sort of I get so tempted, especially with some of the projects that I want to do with it. Personally, not even for the channel, but yeah, it's the simulators will be, and as a gamer, as you can see on all my controllers in the background, I'm more than used to the environment of a simulator, so I'm sure I can adapt to it very easily.
Well, you have an Xbox controller back there, right?
I have, yeah, I have about 60 of them, but don't tell anybody. No one's watching, are they? No. Okay,
No,
yeah,
no.
I have about 60 of them. But
Well, they'll fit. You can use those.
yes.
So let me just say, when I first went on Velocidrome and was trying to use the other one, the Fly Sky I had, and I was so mad that I was just like, I'm like a bat in the sky. I just could only do circles up in the sky. That's where I got that from. I was so mad. And then I decided to go on by myself. Hey, JDS, and try to get through 2 trees. Couldn't. Bam, crash. Bam, crash. And because I've never been a gamer, I had no idea how this was working. And Corey had worked with me quite a bit, and Kim. And I think that's where I finally started getting it, because I just wasn't even going to play anymore. I just thought, who decided this was fun?
Yeah.
This is not fun.
Fantastic.
It took me a couple weeks just to fly and not crash right away. But then now it is fun, but it's more fun, not just flying by myself. I don't find that fun. And that's one thing I've noticed about myself. I'm more about the relationship. So I like the people coming in and flying with us, because I like to see them flying. I like just flying in between and around them. And it's all about relationship. Where the guys are flying, you're coming, I'm going to run into you. I mean, they're just very aggressive. I didn't want to say so, but they could fly by themselves and have fun. But with me, it's all about the people around me.
Nice. That's nice. Yeah.
So
No, we're all sitting there playing it. Get Val, get Val.
yeah, that's not nice. I find that
Oh,
very bad.
that's harsh.
Very harsh. Kim is harsh. So guys, I'm going to go ahead and get ready to close. And I just wanted to tell you, I think Roger's coming on after me. Was that
Yeah.
Roger? Yeah.
Yeah.
And I am actually going to go, because I stuffed my mouth with like this bologna sandwich, but I'm actually going to try to have a real dinner
Nice.
after this. But you are just, I find you fabulous. And I just think you are so kind to do this, to come on and let me pick your brain about what it takes to do what you do. And we didn't even hit hardly any big part of it, really, because I know it's very involved, right?
Kind of cool.
It is, yeah, but it's but it's different for everybody, because just because I find these things, I am a writer, so my job makes me analytical. So for me to sit down and write 5,000 words isn't necessarily a huge deal. So I can certainly sit down and rattle off a script for a video, whereas actually if somebody else had to do that, their brain doesn't work that way. That they would hate it, and they would stop YouTubing in 5 minutes. But actually that person just went on camera without a script, they'd be far more engaging. So everyone has to find their own success routes, but the most important thing is just to do it, just to get on and get that content out there. And every single big YouTuber out there always laughs at their first videos, and they're always like, oh, it's one of the things Ken Heron does on his live show when he has a big YouTuber on. He'll go back and play their first video sometimes, or an early video, and they're like, oh, that's so embarrassing, I can't believe. You have to make those 100 bad videos to grow and to find out what kind of YouTuber you're going to be. I'm only just past that 100 videos, and I still don't know where I'm going. So
Let me just say,
as Nike say, just do it.
Yeah, I have a ton of videos, but I will tell you, that's one thing I learned. Doesn't matter the camera. I mean, as you move on, it probably will. But in the beginning, there are a lot of YouTubers running around with just their camera,
Yeah.
just their phone. This is
Yeah.
all they're using.
Exactly. They have fantastic cameras on them.
They don't even have the latest cameras.
Yeah.
They just do a good job with those, and that's what they do. Or they're flying. I really enjoyed the winery. because I love wineries. I think they're great. And I know Raj did one of those. Kim does it where he flies around the property, but I've been to the property. So even though these guys, these weird Canadians, think it's a boring thing, oh, I've done that before. I love it because it takes me right back there.
Of
So I
course.
don't think we always know what the audience wants. We got to kind of.
Yeah, I mean, and remember, you are the audience as well. So if you make something that you like, which is all I pretty much try and do, then there's every chance that there's going to be a few people out there that's going to like it as well. So
Yes, Plummet. He says that you got to have fun, and that's the truth. Because like tonight was a lot of fun for me. But I know there were a
100%,
couple
Plummet.
shows in my 3 years where I was looking at the clock going, oh no, here we go. But you could tell the whole thing. You could tell I was just like, and that's what I was looking like. So if you see me doing this while I'm doing it, that's when it comes, and I know it's not meshing for me because I can't write the 5,000 words. I guess I could, but I like envisioning what I'm going to see and seeing it through and then trying to create that. But if I had to write every time you write, Sean, my mind is not what I would call an analytical brain. Don't ask him to talk about when I put up the camera. Because he got all mad at me because I wasn't doing it right.
But yeah, that's why I say, and I stress it so much, everyone's different. There's no, to an extent, there's no point knowing how Casey Neistat does things on his channel. There's no point knowing how, Ready Set Drone does things on his channel, because it won't necessarily work for you because it works for them. It's because they have their own things to offer, and you have to offer your thing. And it really, it's the channels that try and copy others too closely. They're the ones that end up failing because they're not their own. They don't have their own voice.
Right. And I got to tell you, I love doing interviews. That is one thing I don't
Awesome.
myself ever throwing myself against the wall. If I'm doing interviews, I'm happy.
Yes, I know exactly what you mean. I enjoy it too.
Distorted TV, FPV, how you doing?
Yeah, distorted. Okay, I'm starting destination. We're going to go ahead and click off, but I think Roger is going on after me. So you guys want to make sure you go in and give Roger that like and head over. Tell him I sent you so he knows how pivotal I am. Yeah, because everyone who goes over, I get at least a quarter. It keeps Lillard in Puppuccinos.
Exactly. And we all know how he gets stroppy without them.
Love all of you. Bye-bye.
Bye.